CashColorCannabis, a high level of conversation on LivehiphopDaily.tv. Back with a new season, new year, man. It's blessed to be back and be into a new decade. 2020's here, and to kick off a new season and kick off a new show, I brought in a guest who I've been wanting to have on since I started the show. Legend in the building, man. My man, Big Gipp.
How you doing, sir?
Bruh, I'm electric right now, man. I'm really blessed to be able to have you in the spot. It's past music with me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've always been a fan of Goody Mob back when I'm from Boston. I legit remember when my friend Kareem called me weird. He was like, man, why you always trying to be weird? He asked me what I was listening to. I said, man, got this Goody Mob album. They pull out this Mob Deep track and said, man, why you always gotta be the weird one, man? I was like, nah, it's rock. No, trust me. My sister went to Morris Brown, so she used to always send me up all them records, man. And I'm like, yo, y'all missing out, really. Like, but anyway, it goes past music. Like, I know your ventures into the weed. I know your ventures into the, saying just learning about the health side and the recreational side of all that. And I was like, yo, Gipp's so interesting. I really need to have this boy on the show. So I'm blessed to have you on here right now, bro.
Thank you for having me.
No doubt, man. So, it's weird. I start every interview by asking people to introduce themselves, but for some reason, for those who don't know who you are, introduce yourself.
Everybody in the world, how you doing? Well, they call me Gipp. I'm from a group called Goody Mob. I'm from a crew called Dungeon Family.
All right.
Been here for a long time, but we got some more work to do, so we'll be here for a little while longer.
Yeah. And thankfully that people who really have ability to chronicle history well. Because between documentaries and shows that's on Netflix and all that, you're able to see the beginnings of Dungeon Family. We never see the beginnings of Outkast, beginnings of Goody Mobs through a lot of these shows, but we really have a chance to actually speak to somebody who was there for that time. So before we get into how you even found Dungeon Family, how they found you, tell us how you found music. Like, what was the day you discovered music?
Well, started early 80s, 84, 85. A dude moved into my neighborhood. His name was Ray Murray. Ray Murray today, he's one of the three organized noise. Well, when Ray moved into the neighborhood, that was the first time that I was introduced to hip-hop, from New York hip-hop even to Atlanta hip-hop.
Okay.
Ray was one of the original writers for the Five Kings from the West Side. In old Atlanta, if you used to ride down Lee Street, on all the old buildings, you used to see old graffiti from the 80s, Five Kings, stuff like that. Ray was from Catherwood, Sylvan Road. So Ray was the first person that kind of like started teaching me about Last Poets. Started teaching me about, James Brown. He was the first person to show me a drum machine. Now, during this same time, I had a kid in my neighborhood named Joseph Kahn. Joseph Kahn's mother was named Jean Kahn. Jean Kahn had a hit record out during the like 70s. It was a record called Closer Than Close, where Jean Kahn went to Washington High School with Gladys Knight. His mother, when she dropped this record in the neighborhood, one day I went over to her house, and there was a group playing in her yard. They were playing basketball. And I remember going to Joseph, and I'm like, man, who them kids is? He said, Gipp, that's New Edition. They opening up for my mama. I said, wow. That was the first time I was introduced to the music business.
Word.
From then, it was a trip. That year, it was like a summer. I remember the record came out, it went gold for New Edition. At the same time, I'm learning about hip-hop from Ray. He's showing me, he's the first person to show me a drum machine. And the first drum machine, it came with 4 pads on it. And it was really for drummers. But that's how Ray started making beats. From there, Joseph was like, yo, that summer, Joseph was like, yo, man, like, my mama, she throwing my sister a birthday party. We going to the Fulton County Stadium. at that time, I really didn't know, like Miriam was younger than me, so I really didn't know. I was just Joseph's friend in the neighborhood and was new to the neighborhood. Well, when we got to the Fulton County Stadium, she was having a birthday party with Jackson 5. The first time I met the Jacksons, I was a kid, so I didn't really understand who I was meeting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just understood that I was here at this big show at Fulton County, and I was watching these kids perform. After that, I think I really got into the bug of it because it was like Miss Carn started taking us to shows. And now I'm engulfed in her house, so now I'm starting to go into her house and I'm seeing she changed her garage. I always wonder why she parked all her cars outside. And I was like, man, like, why your mom don't use her garage? He said, Gipp, let me show you my mama's closet. And that's when I first walked into her closet, and it was the most glamorous clothes that I'd ever seen before. Like all her shoes and the stuff, her wigs and everything she had for stage. It was amazing to me because at the same time, like, her nephew was Peebo Bryson. So he used to come over to the house and we used to hear his records. So with all this going on in my neighborhood, you got to understand hip-hop was so underground then. Hip-hop wasn't what it is today.
Yeah.
You know, the only time we heard hip-hop was on the AM stations, WLK. And it was like, that was like early 80s. Like, that's the only way you could hear rap in Atlanta. They didn't play rap on, it was only one station in Atlanta, it was V103. So I started getting engulfed into this, doing middle school, started performing. So I had my first group. First time me and Ray performed, we performed on Stewart Avenue. We opened up for Sammy Sam, the Hitman.
Hitman. So moving through all this music, man, you clearly were exposed to different kinds before you even rocked into hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Even bumping into crazy R&B, a lot of singing.
Yeah, it was more show business. Rap was something that all our parents was like, man, like I remember playing. I remember the first 2 records I ever had was Ice-T, his first record, 6 in the morning. And I had Boogie Down Bronze. You already know the Blastmaster. I remember playing these records, and I remember first time I got in the car with Dad, and I put it in. And he was like, man, what the hell is that? And I was like, yo, man, it's the new stuff. It's called rap. And I remember my dad, he was like, man, that's crazy music. You know what I mean? But, you know, being a kid, when somebody tell you not to do something, it draws you in even further.
Shit automatic.
So, doing all this time, man, like, I'm learning, I'm in high school. I'm in Mays High School. And I remember all the kids, they used to think I was weird because I was in the Nation of Islam, but I was learning about rap music too. So I come to school, I got the Nation of Islam outfit on, but then I had all 4 rings, all I might have all my jewelry on, you know what I mean, doing it like, and they'd be like, man, what you doing? And it was an oxymoron at the time, but I was going to the mosque. I was going to the mosque over there on Ashby. And it was a record, it was the first time I walked down the street one time. We were selling bean pies and stuff. I hit the corner. I looked over. I said, damn, that's a recording studio. And that recording studio was Haywood. Haywood had been in on the west side. That was where Martin Luther King, all the greats went and did their speeches and recorded their speeches. And I remember going back to East Point and telling Ray, like, yo, man, I found us a studio. We can go to the studio. Well, I remember telling Ray that, and Joe was sitting there, and Joe was like, we ain't got to go to the studio. My mama just bought me a whole studio. So just think about that. I went from really trying to get into it, then now one of my buddies got a whole studio in his house. We probably was the first ones at East Point with that. Because at that time, 1200s, that was like buying a car.
Yeah, shit.
like a 1200 was like, shit.
You see on Wu-Tang, man, when RZA trying to buy that 1200, like buying a car.
It was like buying a car. Like, so we didn't have that. So I think that's when we started taking and using what we had and taking and using and learning about samples. At the same time, all this was going on. This is high school. I'm moving into high school now. Well, first day of school, I'm in high school. I'm in Fulton County, then in East Point. I got on the school bus. Kid walked back there and said, "What you doing sitting on the back of the bus?" I said, "Shit, I ain't know you had to have, I don't know my name on it." Well, I got beat up that day. And that was my first day of high school. So when I got to high school was weird for me. Because I remember that summer. That summer was the first time Rakim came out. And that was the first time I ever heard somebody teaching in rap. Then I wanted to say, oh man, NWA came out. At the same time, while I'm doing this and going to school, I got a job at Red Lobster on Camden Road. So I'm back in the back, and I'm washing dishes one day, and, some rap music come on. I'm just sitting there rapping or whatever. And one of the dudes back there with me, here from New York, his name was Mike. And I was like telling him, I was like, man, they goddamn. Boy, he said, "You like rap?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What's your favorite group?" I said, "Boy," that's when everybody was LL Cool J and all that. But I was like, "Hey, man, it's this group called Public Enemy." He said, "Public Enemy?" I said, "Yeah." I'm talking about, man, I just finished listening to that stuff, boy. I learned about Farrakhan, and I'm learning about all this stuff, and it's taking me away from the street rap. I'm going into this revolutionary shit now. I'm kind of getting turned on about this shit. He was like, "Gipp, you really like that group?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, "Professor Griff, that's my little brother." This real life, I'm telling y'all. I said, "What?" He said, "Professor Griff, that's my little brother." How about I was like, God damn. I was like, he said, "Guess what? The Fresh Fest is coming through Atlanta this weekend. You want to go?" I was like, hell yeah. So I go back, I tell Ray. We get down to the Omni. And I remember me and Mike was standing there. And back in them days, like with the Fresh Fest, man, like, Flavor used to always be there before everybody. So he used to be all out in the crowd doing his thing. And I remember standing there outside and we waiting on Chuck and Professor Griff. I remember them pulling up and jumping out of a cab. And they were headlining. And I was like, damn. LL Cool J pulled up in a long limo. Rakim was in that long limo, you know what I mean? So I seen how they came, but it was like, man, something did something to me, man, when that man came and jumped out of a cab.
Yeah. That's really shit.
From that day, I was intoxicated with hip hop.
When you begin to develop your own style of rap, though? You know what I mean? Like clearly between the and you can hear it even in your sound, between the R&B influences and the Public Enemy influences. Clearly there was a voice that was already being bubbling up in you.
My favorite, if you follow my style, my favorite artists is Ice-T and Chuck D. That's how it created me. because I always was in the street. I came in the game in the Cadillac. You know what I mean? The game didn't give me my Cadillac. So with that being said, it's like I did both. You know what I mean? I played in the streets and I went to school. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It was just a different world then. You know what I mean? And it was a different world because you gotta understand. Like I remember the first day of high school, walking into the bathroom and seeing the older classmen standing there, and him goddamn hitting some blow, and I'm just like, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm a kid, 80s. I'm like, damn, what the hell was that? You know what I mean? But at the same time, I remember it being the thing. You gotta understand, hip hop and the streets was so connected in. So all the fly shit was in the projects. You know what I mean? All the fly shit was up the street with the young kids. Cause I'm gonna tell you about somebody. We in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade. Rico Wade been driving his own car since he was in 6th grade. That's how I met Rico. When we was in 6th grade, I was getting on the bus. Rico was getting in his own car, driving to the project. So as kids, everybody in the Dungeon family, we've been connected since middle school, kindergarten. And CeeLo was in alternative school together. They knew each other before Big got here from Savannah. Me, Reek, and everybody else in the Dungeon family, we've been going to school together. Dotson Drive, Bunch. I was at Paul D. West. We've been knowing each other since kids because in Atlanta, how we all knew each other in high school was dancing. It was about dancing. That's what Atlanta was on. Atlanta was always on some different shit because as kids at Greenbrier, we could be standing there at Greenbrier and we'd see Larry Blackman drive down the street in a Ferrari. Cameo. He from Atlanta. People don't know that. They don't know enough. Oh, we be standing there, we see Curtis Mayfield at the light. He stayed on Camden Road. We've been always surrounded by real superheroes of the music game. So that's what I tell kids all the time. Like, I didn't grow up seeing poor black people.
Yeah.
I didn't grow up seeing that. I grew up seeing rich black people all my life. That's all I've seen in Southwest Atlanta. That's all I've seen. So it was different for me going and seeing and being other places and be like, yo, Gipp, do y'all got TV down there? Huh? Like, my first tour was going to Chicago, going to Detroit, where people ain't been to Atlanta then. You gotta remember that was first time we were seeing each other in other states and cities in our hood with BET. You know what I mean? So before BET, a lot of people only went by what people heard about the South or heard about New York or heard about the West Coast. So you gotta still understand how infatuating it was as a kid during that time. You got the shit going on in the street. It's the first time all the ghetto kids got all the fresh shit. They fresher than all us. All our mama was laying our clothes out like some lame. You know what I mean? But like myself and my friends around me, we still was so, because you can have houses. Yeah, I know how Atlanta is. Houses right here and then the projects up the street. It's so many kids that I know that's in prison that came from way good families, but they chose the street. During that time, you got to look. If you wasn't gangbanging, if you wasn't selling drugs, you was the lame kid that did music. Y'all got to remember now, when we were kids, every time we got out of school, I was carrying a French horn home, goddamn, all through middle school. Like, I ain't played. I tried. But back in school, you used to have to play an instrument. Once I got into hip hop, that kind of shit started making me different than the other kids, because I was like, damn, but I like the music. So with that, once I got to high school is when it really got real for me. That's when I started really learning other things and understanding real life. So you can't write no rhymes for yourself until you live some shit.
Yeah.
I ain't that. Once I got to Mays High School, that when I got shot at. That when I fought Doug High School every weekend at Piedmont Park, and we fought Harper. And you know what I mean? Like high school was so fun for me because I got kicked out of Fulton County. Out of Fulton County, I had to go to Atlanta Public School. So once I got there, the first person I met was Willie Knighton, and y'all called him Cujo. Cujo was a menace in school. When you look at menace to society, Cujo, old dog. Cujo is the one that took me into the streets. He the one took me into and showed me like, yo, Gipp, it's a whole nother lifestyle because Cujo didn't come from where I came. Cujo came from the other side.
Yeah.
So with that being said, Cujo started teaching me about the lingo of downtown, of Techwood, and all this kind of shit that was going on in downtown Atlanta. Cause he was from the west side, so Cujo playground was downtown Atlanta, and his style was different. So with that being said, y'all can understand at this time in high school, I was really on some Public Enemy shit, trying my best to be Chuck D. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was trying, going to the mosque, I was trying to listen to the minister. I was like, shit, we going to the Million Man March, we doing all that good shit. But it was like not until one day, Rico called us. He said, yo, Gipp, bring Ray up to the salon, man. My sister said she met these two little dudes, man. Say they gonna come up here and rap for us. I was like, all right. So, you know, by this time, y'all gotta understand what's going on in Atlanta. You got Ichiban. Ichiban was the first record label around here. Ichiban first started putting out Jermaine first groups.
Yeah.
You know, Dallas had took off already. Dallas had fucked around, met Joyce Irving in Atlanta, and Dallas jumped in the car with her and left Atlanta at 17 and were recording records in L.A. So he was gone. He left. So the only other place was Ichiban. Everybody tried to put music out there, tried to do this, do that. Then L.A. Reid and Babyface showed up in town. Okay. We went and performed for them at that time. We went and performed for them trying to get on the face. When we got there, I remember Divine Stevens was there. Divine was already famous in the hood for dancing. Everybody knew Divine, and Divine hung out with Bobby Brown, so Divine was already like a ghetto superstar around here. You know what I mean? So I remember we performed that night. Divine performed. They picked Divine. Divine was the first artist that on LaFace Records. That night, though, it was this girl sitting at the table. They said, man, Gipp, we want you to meet somebody. I said, hey, how you doing? She said, what's up? I said, what's your name? She said, my name Left Eye. I was like, damn. That's a hard name. You know what I mean? So, you know, back then, you know, that fucked us up that day because, I mean, we went back to the crib. We were like, man, we got some whack-ass names.
We got to change our names.
You know, that was the first time we realized. We were like, damn, my name ain't right, Shawty. I was like, damn. Shawty goddamn fucked all our name up. So, I remember that's when we was like, yo, we got to get out. That was the last step to us because we had just been making music ever since then, you know, coming up trying to figure out what we doing. I was in a group called East Point Chain Gang.
Mm-hmm.
That consisted of me, Cool Breeze, Chief, OZ, and Cap One. Now, Cool Breeze, y'all know.
Yes, sir.
Cap One, that's Southside Daddy that y'all hear doing all the beats. That's his father. So Southside was a little baby when we was working on our album.
Damn, who don't you know, man? Like Shit, man, you know everybody.
Because at that time we was the only ones.
Yeah.
You gotta look that everybody looked at us. I lo- we
Oh, yeah.
loved we loved Luke Skywalker. Atlanta we was on the shaky booty music.
Yeah.
That's what we called it. You know what I mean? We was on that. You know what I mean? Like to us, like everybody else, we looked and seen what everybody else was doing, but wasn't nobody doing it like us. Like to me, because I was like, shit, we going to the club. I was in strip club 15, 16 years old. Like, man. So for me, it was about us trying to make that type of music because most of everybody that were coming out around here were making that type of music. Everybody know Kilo was that one that put that thing down for the streets.
Yeah.
But like for us in Atlanta, the first place that we was able to go see real hip hop acts was Sharon Showcase on 20 Gresham Road, the East Side. The East Side was the nucleus of Atlanta's hip hop during the early '80s, cause that was where the biggest drug dealers was. That was Lil Joe and Lil Dave and JoJo. You know what I mean? And they had the biggest shit. Sharon to me is the godmother of Atlanta. Like without Sharon Showcase and without Sharon, it's no hip hop scene because nobody fuck with us. You know, the East Side was considered, that's the dark side. As kids, like that's where I learned crime on the East Side. Everybody on the East Side, I mean, that's what it was. You know what I mean? Them niggas were the best at stealing cars. Them niggas was the best, man. They always had they had the best parties. You know what I mean? They the ones started everything on the East Side, Sharon Showcase. So Sharon Showcase was the first place that I got to see Luke Skywalker, Poison Clan, you know, because at the end of the day, what went on in the Omni, that was really New York.
Yeah.
That was like a New York. That was New York's finest. And for us that loved hip hop, you know, I had homeboys that ain't never been in the New York hip hop.
It's almost like mainstream versus underground.
Yeah,
like
so-
y'all was getting mainstream down in Omni.
Yeah, so for us, like that's why we all knew Jermaine, because his dad was the one that was bringing them concerts here. Michael Malden. That's why Jermaine was always on the stage with Houdini, on the stage in them big places, because his father was a promoter during those times. So with all that going on, you got to understand, y'all, it was a big pot of going on because outside of Sharon, people don't give Big Oomp. Big Oomp is really, they were the underground. Jelly and everything that was going on the west side, those were the tapes. On the east side, it was good. It was Smurf. It was Jazzy Tees. It was all that they had their whole scene. We had our whole scene, but at the same time, I had Ray from Organized Noise, who was a hip hop head. So that was our main thing. When we came out, we always saw how everybody disrespect Luke, would disrespect them and, they can't rap, yeah, okay, whatever. You know what I mean? But me being a kid, I was like, nah, I don't want that. I want respect. So with me, I studied all the greats of New York. I studied all the greats of the West Coast because I had to. You know what I mean? Yeah. But we formulated that style once we started really doing and it all really started. I think we all formulated our style after we got Twan and Drake. After we got two babies that ain't been in the whole music shit and took pictures and ain't did and it didn't happen and did went and got record deals but didn't work. But then once we got them, we poured everything into them because it was like once they showed up that day in East Point, and I remember they gave me a tape. It was Das Effects. It was the Das Effects instrumentals. They put the Das Effects instrumentals in, and them niggas rap till that tape went off. And we all looked at each other like, damn. Okay. Next day, Reek was like, yo, I'm about to move to Lakewood. I'm about to get another house. We're about to start. I think that's when Reek got the house in Lakewood. When Reek got the house in Lakewood, that's when we turned up.
Bruh, you know when I was watching that shit on Netflix, they was talking about some of the. They brought back the Fab Five Freddy clip when Yo and TV Raps came down to Atlanta and they went to the dungeon,
Yeah.
and he was talking about all the smoke that was coming up out of there. And I was trying to think, y'all must have had some legendary smoke sessions up in there, especially back when Dre was still smoking. You got Outkast in there, you got Rico, you got yourself, man. Like, what was it like up in there as far as like one trying to create, you know, what I'm saying in that environment, and two, what was the sessions like? Like, what was it like when y'all was blowing down?
Well, the biggest thing that people don't understand is that we never could record in the dungeon.
Really?
We never could record anything in the dungeon. The albums that we put together, their album that we put together, we put that together and we damn near wrote the album and had to go record it. So every record on that record, every beat on that record possibly played in the dungeon, just the instrumental for a month straight, all day, all night, never went off. That's how we did every song. We lived with the record. And it was a trip, you know, like everything was so fast because you gotta understand what was going on. At the same time that all this shit is going on, right down the street is T-Bars. And they putting TLC together. So when they putting TLC together, Pebbles hollered, yo, I got a label. Next thing we know, PA signed. So PA signed first from our crew to Pebbles label. So that's Mello and Reese and KP the Great. So you gotta understand, we did the album for Pebbles. PA was really the blueprint for Outkast. Because Outkast was able to sit back and watch PA do this album in Doppler and understand what were the mistakes, what they didn't have. You know, PA album was just straight hip hop because we was really, really trying to, you know, we wanted New York to know we can rap down here, you know what I mean? So PA album was real hip hop. Well, Outkast kind of sit back and was like, you gotta understand at that time, studios, man, we couldn't even go in studios. Those were the times where if you ain't had no session book, it wasn't no whole bunch of niggas up in no studios smoking and kicking it with their feet up. It wasn't none of that going on back then. You couldn't even get in them buildings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was money.
It was money.
Yeah.
So at them times, they were going there and work on PA album and Doppler, and we'll sit in the parking lot for 12, 14, 15 hours, listening to one beat, smoking. You know what I mean? The whole day. Like, well, I don't know what
Just
them
lit
niggas
in the
doing.
parking lot.
We out here the whole day, and then we here, man. We don't even care we in there. We here.
Yeah.
So with that whole thing, that's how we slid Outkast in. Outkast got on the remix. Boom. They heard. Then next thing you know, TLC got signed. Boom. KP running with T-Bars every day. She straight eat points. So it's all good. Me and Chili, we went to school together at Mays. We was in the same English class. We good. Wham. Oh, man. No, they talking about opening a little face. They get signed a little face. Boom. We're like, okay. We started working. We did our first motherfucking trial. We went to go see L.A. He turned us down. He looked at Outkast. He was like, man, them niggas ain't no star. I mean, Rick came back and was like, man, the LA said they ain't no star. I said, all right, we got to work some more. He was like, man, damn all this goddamn hip-hop shit, man. Let's get on some player shit, my nigga. Let's do what we do, my nigga. It Cadillac, man. We don't, hey, man, let's get on this Georgia shit. Boom, LA called and said, hey, man, we're going to put y'all niggas on Christmas album. Organized going to the studio with TLC. They in there doing sleigh bells. Nigga said, let's flip this bitch. Tell the cats, come here, let's flip this bitch. Let's talk about how we had Christmas. Ain't no goddamn snow. Wham! Shawty done went in there and nailed that shit. So you gotta understand now. We kind of right here. We kind of in the room, but we don't know. We don't know. We don't know yet. So LA put the goddamn Christmas album out. And y'all gotta remember back then, like, first time we heard the record was on 89.3. So we were like, oh shit, we on goddamn. 89.3. Then in about a month, hey, Atlanta, V103, they starting the rap show. And we got Greg Street from Dallas, Texas. Man, our guy. Man, he played players ball the first time in Atlanta, man. It was like, all of us was like, why? I mean, I remember, I tell y'all, man, I was on my job, because I'm going to tell y'all how slick I was. See, I had old military dad. That nigga was crazy, man. So I had to goddamn play, the rap shit, he equated all that with the streets, everything. Back then, it's smoking, Philly blunts, he fucking up his carpet. He just like, man. You know what I mean? So I had to have a job because the nigga was like, look here, man, like, either you going to go live in the streets or you got to have a job. You got to have a job around here. I said, okay, well, shit, I'm going to go get a job at the warehouse, and then I'm going to go to hair school because y'all got to understand, the Barner Brothers family were big in Atlanta. Here, and during that time, you either chose the streets or you went and did hair. So with me, I was like, shit, I'm gonna go to the hair school up there on MLK, shorty, that right down the street from Dixie Hill. Yeah. Okay. So, so yeah. So I mean, I was got there. We in the warehouse. So I remember it about 6 o'clock. About 5 o'clock in the day. And I'm in the warehouse. I'm in College Park. And that man played players ball. Man, I said, that's it. That's it. I quit. Hey, man, I walked right on outside, jumped in that old mobile and scratched off, so when I got to the dungeon, at the same time, CeeLo them pulling up, everybody pulling up.
Everybody done quit.
Hey, everybody quit that same day. CeeLo, everybody. CeeLo worked at a potato chip company on Full Industrial folk. You know what? It just potato chip company. You got to put it in the thing. It came on the radio. Them folks just walked out the thing, left potato chip everywhere, just running everywhere. It just walked out. I said, man, this it, bro. This it. And I'm talking about, y'all gotta understand, we put this record out in December. This like the summertime. We still working for a whole nother 6 months. This just a record on that man Criminal album. Man, Dre them called and said, man, we got a show in Dallas. We gotta go. First time being on the road, my name. Who we on the show with? Nigga said, Tony. I said, God damn. Hold up, folks. Hold up. We out here with Tony. You know, I'm like, boy, it can't be no little show, shawty. Hold up, shawty. We ain't in no high school or nothing.
Oh, no, we really quick.
Yeah, so you got to understand that this our first time being out of Georgia, anything. We get to Dallas, we like, man, we get there. So you got to understand, we don't know what being on TV is. We don't know the impact of the record. We don't know nothing. We really don't know nothing. And we get there, and we at the Dallas Stadium home. That motherfucker sold out. That's when I called back home. I said, shit, bro. We ain't did it, y'all. Cause Reek them wasn't on the road. Organized Noise, but they wasn't on the road like how Puffy was. So we didn't really see, Reek didn't come on the road. So we had to call back home and say, yo, dog, Shawty them goddamn did it, Shawty. They did. This shit bigger than what we know, you know? And from that's when the relationship came, man. That's when we pulled back up to the dungeon one day and a car pulled up, LA pulled up, and he got out. Hey, man, we're going to shoot this video today. I want y'all to meet somebody. They're like, who is that? Say, hey, man, what's happening with your playboy? My name Puffy.
I heard, yo, and Puff didn't finish the whole video, did he?
Yeah. Puff was the nigga that shot Player Ball video. That was the first time we met Puff. That day is the same day that we shot the video, so that day is also the day that Fab Five Freddy came to the dungeon.
So this is all one day.
That was all one day.
Damn.
That was all one day, because you got to remember, at the same time, we doing the video, MTV Raps. We were the first to be on MTV Raps. So, you know, they know Puff was coming, MTV Raps coming, LA was coming. All that happened.
That's what's up.
That's when we really we figured out that we had made it, man. Like, it was tough, bro. Like, it was tough, man. If I would tell you, I'd tell y'all some horror stories, man. It was tough. It was just tough being in an environment that all you wanted to do was prove yourself, and all you wanted to do was be loved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, with that being said, it was great. It's one thing that I understand about being the first. It ain't no manual to it.
No.
You know, it ain't. You know, I'm gonna tell y'all, man. It's something else to have to live in fame, and you don't understand fame, and nobody to tell you what fame is. You know, it's some days you wake up and you just be like, man, damn, man, I wish it was like them first albums, bro. It was some days I wake up and be like, man, shit, man, I wish I can go back normal. I don't even want nobody to know me today, like, you know what I mean? But it's all the trials and tribulations. I'm glad that I've been able to live this long. But you know, it's so many of my friends that I started this shit up with that didn't make it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So hip hop, man, this shit is just as dangerous as the street game, man. Like, this is the street game, cause at the same time, y'all know death can come with this shit, and you know, like, to me, everybody doing them times was so raw, man. Like, it was just so raw. You know, like, I tell people all the time, man, like, that Source Award that y'all see, man, like, people don't understand that, man. That was the first time that we all saw each other in the flesh that night. Like, it was so much testosterone in that room, y'all. It was like being in a motherfucker, like being on a prison yard. Because all of us back then was so raw, like, we were just so like, nigga, we're here. I mean, and you just gotta imagine this. Goody Mob, us four, we got Lil Shanti Doss with us, she with us, and the two Outcasts. And we walk in this room, we sit down. It's dark, so all the lights out, so everybody you can't see nobody. So just imagine the stage going boom, and it's that death row shit. And that shit just like, we like, damn, this is the first time we seen Snoop. First time we seen the Lady of Rage. We like, Lord, we just like some kids. Like, Lord, look at this. Look at this. And then the lights turn on, and we look around, and it's 100 Wu-Tang. First time we seeing Method Man. You know what I mean? We seeing Method Man, we seeing Ghost, we seeing Rayco, we seeing everybody. We like, wow. You know, we looking over here. Damn, they go to West Coast, they gonna be Suge. They go, ooh wee. You know, they go Bone Thugs and Harmony. There they go. You know what I mean? And boom, the shit break out. We like, damn. You got to remember at this time, this is when everybody's albums are coming out during that time. This is everybody's first albums coming out. And I mean, we had a show. We had a show because it was like Outkast first time performing in New York. So we had a show that night after that, and it was like, okay, first time we perform in New York, got to see how New York fucking with us. We go, we do the show. It was great. It was this dude standing in the front, big dude, standing in the front the whole time, rapping, whole time. Had a bandana on with a hockey jersey. Music come on, big dude walked straight to CeeLo. Fuck with you, cat. Who is that, Lo? Oh, that Biggie. First time we meet Biggie Small in the club. We leave there, we go to the hotel. we crunk. We all outside like, man, boy, we got our first show in New York. Boy, we went in the store and bought boom phones and shit. So y'all met some Atlanta niggas all out on the curb in New York drinking boom phones, eating some raid pizza, like some tourists. and this thing, you know, a dude walk up. It was Method Man. If y'all see this picture, I put it out a few years ago. It's a picture of all us standing on the street. It's me, Big, Method Man. None of us had no goals, no tattoo. And I remember that night. He said, yo, God, y'all perform here? He said, yeah, this is our first time performing. He said, this is our first night, the Wu-Tang performing in the city. We performed around the corner. That was the first night Outkast performed in New York. The Wu-Tang performed around the corner, Protect Your Neck, the first time in New York City. We drunk boom phones together and went back. He went to the we went to ours. You know what I mean? So me personally, I can tell y'all, I've been like paying attention to everything going on in my life when it comes to this rap shit, because at that time I watched the crowds change. I watched people's attitude toward what we do and how we do it. You know, never in my life would I think I'd be sitting here and we'd be talking to millions of people and we talking to microphones and this, that thing that's in there. You gotta remember, folks, I was one of the first wave of kids, man. Like, I remember, man, Atari, my nigga, we sit in front of the TV all day and hit a ball back and forth, bink, bink, and thought that shit was the greatest shit of all time, so we used to sit there for hours, like, do that shit, so you know what I mean? So I watched that, going to the Commodore, to the Dell, to when the dungeon got Tecmo Bowl, and we used to fight over Tecmo Bowl to get on there and play that machine, and you looking at everything that we couldn't have then. It's at your fingers, man. Like, y'all don't understand what it was to wanna be in this but couldn't get the materials to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You had to be the best. And I look at these kids now and I'm like, man, y'all get to do this shit so easy, man. I mean, it used to be gatekeepers back then, bro. Like, you wasn't getting in here unless you was the best.
So I think you hit the nail on the head when you was talking about the studio shit. Like, I remember studios was so much money that, you know, like you say, it wouldn't be 10, 12 deep in the studio. It's the person who paid for it. You know what I'm saying? Now you go to a studio now, it's like this. You know what I'm saying? And one person in the booth, man. So let's talk about weed, man.
Let's talk about it, man.
Let's talk about it, man.
I've been smoking for a long time, man. I've been smoking for a long time.
When was the first time you smoked?
Oh, shit. With Cujo Goody. See, I told you.
Damn, Cujo was
Cujo Goody, man. Cujo Goody. I'll tell y'all the story. Man told me one morning, got to Mays High School, man. He said, hey, man, what you doing? I said, nah. He said, man, we cut school today. Okay, next thing I know, I wind up in the project. But before we get there, he said, hey, Gipp, you ever smoke weed? I said, no. Don't know what you talking about.
Well, today.
It's him and Derek in the front seat. He rolls up a joint. He gives me the weed. I smoke the weed. Oh, Lord. Next thing I know, I'm in the house party. Next thing I know, the police outside. Yeah. Next thing I know, everybody running up the stairs trying to jump out the second floor goddamn bathroom window, and everybody trying to go at the same time. I jump out, I hurt my leg. Goddamn. I couldn't run. Cujo was going, he had got about 15 steps away. He turned around, Gipp, what's wrong? I can't run, Joe. Joe came back, he put his arm around me. He said, don't worry about it, but I gave you the reefer, I'm going to stay with you.
That's a frame, my dude.
Hey, next time you know, me and Joe, we locked up. We on Bankhead. We locked up. Zone 6. Yeah. Zone 4. We locked up. That was the first day I did weed, man. And after that shit, We been smoking reefer.
That's what's up, man. He been locked in ever since.
Yeah, man. I was like, hey, man, after I got that, because y'all got to understand, man, back then, bro, like, man, I remember first time I bought a twin. I went and bought, Joe said, we going to Dixie Hill, shorty. We about to go get this goddamn dub. I was like, all right. We got the Dixie Hill. He went up in there and got that dub. Shorty came out with a goddamn vanilla fold. I was like, what that is? he was like, shit, this the weed. Now back then, man, everybody was smoking Bobby Brown, man. It was like, it wasn't nothing. It was swag. It was dirt. I mean, we used to get it. We had to get names. We had to roll the seeds out first, then get the sticks out first, then get on down to the goddamn misc.
Understand the process. The process of getting of breaking down Reggie back then.
Yeah, that was all the way, bro. It was no way around it. That's how it was coming, right? So you get that all the way down, right? So then, once I got into the game, that's when I started learning about mid. So then, you know, some of my folk customers were doctors, so they were smoking this shit that was different than the street. That's when I started learning about strands. The first strand I ever heard that the doctor smoked and the lawyer smoked was Acapulco Gold. That was the shit that sold for $200 an ounce at the car wash. Yeah. so that was like our dream to get, cause we wanted to smoke the Acapulco Gold, and really that was what they call cess, red cess. So the first time I remember seeing it, I remember my homeboy daddy showed it to me, and it was like a gold with red hairs, and this was like their chronic. That was their chronic then. You know what I mean? So that was kind of like my thing, you know, like most of the kids around me, man, they were getting to it. I seen the ounce of weed at 14 years old. You know what I mean? Like, them kids around me, they wanted to get to it.
You know the funny part is, you say an ounce of weed, I'm still thinking like how back in the day, if you had Reggie, you breaking down seeds and sticks. Like how much of an ounce was seeds and sticks? You know what I'm saying? Because we
shit,
bro,
half
had that bag was seeds.
It was an ounce, but the ounce was really a half an ounce. What you was smoking. The rest of it was seeds and sticks.
So I'm almost embarrassed now at this point, because I remember when people run up to me and I know it's Reggie now, and the first thing they want to do is like, yo, smell this. Yeah. So I'm smelling it and I'm like, yeah, I gotta hit this shit. Now it's like, yo, I smell that shit and I be like I tell you now, 5 points weed. I always consider the 5 points weed Reggie. I don't give a fuck what nobody out there got. This is Reggie. Yeah. And then that's how I feel about it. They just run up and just, yo, smell this shit. This thing's been like dirt, dog.
The first time, I remember the first time Organized Noise went to the West Coast, Reek brought back an ounce of Chronic. Chronic album.
Chronic drove me crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, Chronic.
And like the original Chronic, y'all, used to be little Christmas trees in the bag. Like little nuggets, like little eggs. Like they were little Christmas trees. Real fat weed, right?
Yeah.
Strong. I remember when we looked at that bag for a week. We just looked at the reefer. We ain't even want to. We smoked everything but that reefer. We let that reefer sit in the dungeon for a week. Just smoking everything. Just look at that damn weed. Why we ain't got nothing like that? I don't know. Our reefer don't look like that though. So you gotta understand that when we was able to get that was the best. Now, the best weed smoking I ever did was when Goody Mob went on tour with Fishbone and De La Soul. That was about the most highest tour I ever been on. Cause that was
like Woodstock.
Yeah, it really was. It really was with Fishbone, but that's another crowd, man. That's another tight crowd there. So, and with De La in different places, because those were the first tours that we went up into places like Humboldt County. And I actually got to be in a Humboldt County setting, and all these kids from all these different farms just bringing me weed all day. Like, yo, this train wreck. Yo, this. This is the first time I started hearing names of weed, because before that, I only just heard it's weed.
Bro, that's the type of shit to make you come back to Atlanta and just be mad. I mean? Just be upset at everybody.
You know what I mean? But like, smoking weed on tour with Fishbone, and I met the king of THC on that tour.
Yeah.
So this white dude walked in. That was the first time that I saw him walk in, take the best weed that he had, put it in the bong, and then take some oil shit out and pour it on top of it. That was the first time I ever saw that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember that when I hit it, it's the same effect that I get from hitting a dab. Now, it was that strong to me because I was like, dab is like that's Doc. Man, Doc be trying to get me.
Have you thought about why you smoke? Like, you've been smoking for a while. Like, have you thought about why you smoke? Like, thinking about just some of the things you go through, whether it's medical, whether it's mental, any issues like
Well,
that. Like, have you thought about
let's
why
go
you
to let's go to that part too.
Yeah.
All right. My background. Mother's father's from Alabama. My mother's from Georgia, Rockmont, Georgia, up in the mountains. My grandmother and all that, they used to have cannabis oil. They used to make that stuff back in the day. Half my family were Cherokee Indians, real Cherokee Indians. My grandmother was full-blooded Cherokee Indians. You know what I mean? So in Alabama, and she used to keep stuff. That was her special drawer. Like that was what was in there with that castor oil.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That kind of stuff that your granny used to keep, that special shit. Like I can hear you with this shit in here. Know that they always had cannabis oil. We didn't know what it was, but the old folk did. That was handed down through our tradition of us not having money to go to the doctor. We had to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's always been around me. But I had an incident in the warehouse. I was on a forklift, and I mashed my ankle between the wall and the forklift. I went, and that was the first time the doctors put me, this opioids. This is like 91. There's opioids. So I get the opioids. I'm taking them. I'm like, God damn, man, what the fuck? Like, I don't like this, man. Like, I don't like the scratching, and I don't like this. You know what I mean? I ain't like that. And first thing I did was, where my weed at? Where my weed at? Damn this. And I remember I stopped taking the pills without nobody telling me to and just smoke weed. And from that, I learned that weed was a healer
Yeah.
because it helped me with my pain and it kept me calm when I wanted to, go the other way.
Yes.
So with me, I felt like, man, it's more of a medicine. And I taught myself that. Now, nobody in this world would agree with me on that didn't smoke. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? But, even when it comes to that, my love and why I got back into this the way I am now is because of my father that I lost a year ago.
I'm sorry.
He didn't tell me he had cancer. He didn't want to tell me that's the kind of dude he was. So I just made sure that I was with him as long as I could be once I got back home from Los Angeles. So with that being said, Doc, I met Doc, started teaching me about what cannabis can be used for, how it can be used to heal. It was real hard to kind of get him into stuff like that because he had already been doing the chemo. He had been doing everything he was supposed to do. But during this time, he was on his way. I went back home, and they said, "Man, Gipp, he ain't got long." I said, "Okay." Well, I met this guy in L.A. His name is Calvin. Calvin is a scientist. And Calvin was like, yo, Gipp, I know about the RSO oil. I know it. I don't do cannabis, but I mess with it. I know it works. He said, yo, I'm going to give you this stuff. Take this back home. See if it helps your father. At the same time, when I got back, I had only been gone for 48 hours. When I got back to the hospital, everybody on my father's floor had died. He was the only one left. I went in there and I told him. He said he was in so much pain. He was like, shit, man. This shit don't work. I ain't tripping. Just take care of your mama. So I said, I said, Dad, I brought this stuff. I put it in his mouth. Mind you, he ain't ate for about 3 or 4 days, and his body was really it was in its last stages. I put the oil in his mouth. He went to sleep. He woke up in the morning. He said, "Hey man, I'm hungry." So we kind of all look. We kind of like, huh? Like, yeah, man, I'm hungry. He ate a whole plate, and when he ate the plate, he said, "Shit, I want to go home." I was like, "Damn." I told Doc, everybody, we got ready. We were going to go ahead and get him home. My father lived for another 2 weeks. And I was thinking, like, I know it's because of the cannabis.
Yeah, if he could have had it earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, it's a blessing that you got to understand the healing power as late as you did, and it's still enough time for you to be able to spread that word to other people.
That's what it is. That's
Yeah.
that's why it's real to me. I seen it work. If I didn't see it work, especially after being in the room and doctor saying ain't nothing else we can do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And for a man to get up, you gotta understand. He got right home. I was like, "Shit, Daddy, what you want to eat?" He was like, "Shit, boy, go to that goddamn Longhorn and get me that steak and lobster." And that man ate steak and lobster, my nigga. And I was so proud to just know I gave him that. That's what he wanted. That was the one last thing he wanted, man, before he got out of here, man. And I just know that it was because of that cannabis. That cannabis, it started healing his body, but it was already too late. But at the same time, with it not being too late, it gave him an appetite to want to eat and want to drink and at least, live as much as he could while he had it. So with that being said, that's why I have to be an advocate for the healing power of cannabis. I have to be here, and I have to fight this fight with Dr. Hodges because he is the first to put his leg and put his career and put everything that he got to put his foot out here for Georgia.
Yeah.
And with my father and with him standing with my father, man, it's like it gave me a whole nother fight. I never thought I would love anything more than going on stage and doing what I do, But seeing something that can help millions of people at least live better or at least have a second option, I fight for that.
That's what's up, man. Hey, we a little bit more out of time. I wish we could do more with you, bro. But before we get out of here, man,
Wait a minute. Before we get out, hold on, man.
Yeah.
You crazy as hell. We ain't going nowhere. Hold on, man. All right, let's talk about it now.
Go ahead.
Okay.
You got
the
something for us?
session. The session now. Now I know the session. The Capitol open back up next week.
Yes, sir.
We need all our folks that's into this cannabis business and want to learn about it. You need to stay in touch and in tune with what's going on in
Facts.
Georgia. Get your money ready. Get your money ready. Ain't nothing free. Ain't nothing free. If we want to be involved with something, we gonna have to understand we can't come in there with that same old attitude. Even if we got to start small. For the girls, it's a whole nother thing out there. I got a little niece. She just graduated from the Cannabis University. They just called her to Oklahoma and gave her a $40,000, $50,000 job starting out, teaching her how to do abstracts and stuff like that. It's time, ladies and gentlemen. Even if we got to go back to school, we can go back to school and learn how to do this stuff. I'm in California, so I'm seeing some of the people that's in this business, most of them police. Most of them took the stuff there and took off kids in the street and took it to their garage and started whole companies out there in L.A. It's because we don't have the knowledge most of the time why we not involved. It's too much stuff going on in Atlanta for us not to be involved. They're about to put $700 million in just rent and development in Atlanta on the south side. Dispensaries, they looking at it'll be $66 billion made just this year in the cannabis field. You know, 66 billion. If you don't know, you need to learn. You got cooking, you got bud tending, you got dispensaries, you got deliveries, you got everything you want. I got oils. You smoke?
Huh.
All right. All right, I got something for you. This is Delta 88. It's
Okay.
an oil that's not even on the market yet. Some of the strongest oil out here.
As y'all see, I leaned in.
Yeah. I want you to hit that.
Okay.
They ain't got that in the hood.
Now, how do I hit it?
Just hit it. Just hit it. You ain't got to press nothing. Yeah. Just keep going. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Worry about it. That's good. I hate all y'all for being here at this moment, but that's good. And it tastes good, too.
That's called kabuki.
Oh.
Take that out. That's going to be the edibles coming out soon. That's kabuki.
You eat this?
Yeah, eat that.
So wait, I just learned that. I learned so much from this interview.
And this right here, this 480, it's like 480. I could give this to a horse and then knock it on his ass. Yeah. If I gave him this whole thing, he'd fall down.
I'm glad you warned me early.
Now, I'm gonna tell y'all what's going on. I got the Zaga blunts coming out this month. Yeah. They're gonna be out in California. We gonna jump state to state every 45 days. Once you get it started, cause it's taking me about a year, 2 years to get everything together. I got the Zaga blunts. Of course, I know if y'all in the street, y'all done had some of that moon rock. Yeah. The real moon rock. Yeah.
Look at his face.
And then we got the 3Seeds stuff coming.
Yes.
That's gonna be like a medicinal line. You know what I mean? Just like we trying to do that. But like, and then the Gipp goodies. Gipp goodies is gonna be a recreational line. It's gonna be out there in LA. You know what I mean? We gonna move it around it, and I feel like whatever I do in Atlanta, it's Dr. Hodges at Gipp always. We do it. We got red clay magic, but most likely y'all probably gonna see Dr. Hodges line. I won't be on nothing in Georgia. So I mean, with that being said, I mean, with me personally, I'm here for everybody. I want to create a way to make sure that I can employ as many people as we can. Cause I mean, we need an army. Yeah. Dr. Hodges needs an army. Because we got as many of us as they see that stands behind him and the movement in Georgia, it's just going to make it better for us and what we want to do and how we want to do it in Georgia.
Bro, you one of the most interesting people on earth. Hands down.
Why you think I ain't as big as I'm bigger than the music?
Yes, sir.
You know why?
Why?
Because I ain't never let them folk talk shit to me. And the music business didn't never give me nothing that I wasn't exposed to. So it was never nothing they could make me do that I didn't want to do. I ain't supposed to be as rich as some because I always came with knowledge. Knowledge will never have as much money as the person that came to dance. That's the way it is.
My boy Gipp, appreciate you for coming out and blessing us today. And that's Cash Color Cannabis, a high level of conversation.